And hello, one and all, and we are live. And welcome to my review for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. We're going to take a look at everything that transpired on the February 22nd edition of Raw. And right off the bat, what can I say? Wow, what a great edition of Raw this was. It finally felt like tonight that we were officially on the road to WrestleMania 32 after coming off a disappointing Fastlane pay-per-view. I have to give WWE credit when they do put on a good show, because this was a good episode of Raw tonight. I'll say it was the best episode so far this year, and the best episode of Raw that I've watched since that. I believe it was on December 14th in Philly. This felt like a special show. There were memorable moments. There were good matches. Not everything on the show was 100% great, but for filling the 3 hours the way that they did, I thought, man, I am so excited for WrestleMania 32. And let's get into what took place on tonight's show, because like I said, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We kicked things off as it was announced. Vince McMahon comes down to the ring, and he's going to present the Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award. So we're all curious who's going to win this award, this very prestigious award. And Vince says, I'm going to give it to Stephanie. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, God, here we go. This is just going to be Steph coming down there, mugging for the camera for 5 minutes, talking about how her and Triple H, are the greatest, the authority, blah, blah, blah. Typical Raw opening. However, this was epic. This is one of the greatest moments of the year so far. Shane McMahon returned on Monday Night Raw, and I fucking lost my mind. I was like, holy shit, I did not see this coming at all. I don't think anybody did. And seeing Shane McMahon walk down that aisle, get into the ring for the first time in what was 7 years, was definitely a sight to see. Always loved Shane McMahon. What a great performer he was in the ring. Tremendous. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Wow, what a great moment. The crowd loved it. They were chanting, holy shit, holy shit. And this is awesome, because it was awesome. Shane, he gets in the ring, and the look on Vince and Stephanie's faces was classic. This was an all-time great segment. I loved every minute of it. It was funny. Vince tried to go in for the hug. Shane's like, no, we're not going to do this. And pretty much Shane says, with all due respect, Steph, you don't deserve that award. And they go back and forth, and, Shane pretty much says, we've got a lot of problems with this show, with WWE in general. I mean, you have all these injuries, guys are hurt all the time, Raw ratings are going down, the product in general is just... So he was saying all this true stuff, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. Why couldn't Shane have been the one to take over control from Vince? I was like, just give Shane the keys to the kingdom right now. Have him take over this very night. And eventually, Shane said that he cut a deal with Vince years ago before he left. And he said, just because he left doesn't mean that he lost his place in line. And Steph's like, is this true, Dad? And Vince is like, well, there is some truth to this. So Stephanie leaves the ring. She's livid at Shane. She's like, I will never let you live this moment down. And then it's just Vince and Shane in the ring. And Vince is like, I'll bring out the checkbook. How much money do you want me to write? Shane's like, it's not about the money. Not at all. He said he wants to be in control of Monday Night Raw. And when I heard that, I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Please, just give Shane the show right now. But Vince said, it's not going to be that easy. Not at all. You're going to have to earn your way to controlling Monday Night Raw in a match. This match will be at WrestleMania 32, and your opponent will be The Undertaker. I was like, whoa. Okay, did not see that coming at all. I read the rumors about Taker facing somebody that was not on the active roster. Sure enough, it's going to be Shane freaking McMahon. And Vince also tells him that's not the only thing. This match against The Undertaker is going to be inside Hell in a Cell. So right there, I'm like, boom, I'm sold. Cannot fucking wait for that match 41 days from now, WrestleMania 32. And Vince, adds another stipulation to it. And he also says, I think Vince dropped an F-bomb on Raw too. So it was getting really personal, really real. And Vince pretty much said, if you lose, that's it. That's going to be it. And pretty much, let me find it here, just a second, that if Shane loses, he will give all assets in his lockbox to Vince. So that is a huge announcement for WrestleMania 32. I'm hyped. I'm all for it. And I'm ready. I don't know about you. Let me know down in the comments section. But what a way to kick off Monday Night Raw. And things just kept going from there. I really enjoyed this match between Neville teaming up with the Lucha Dragons to take on the members of the New Day. Really solid 6-man tag match here. New Day, of course, get that great reaction from Detroit. This was at the Joe Louis Arena. And I thought everybody in this match, they were hitting their spots left and right. And Neville really was a shine. He really shined well in this match. There was one part of the match where Big E, he missed his spears going through the ropes, and Neville hit the 450 splash on Big E. So I thought that was really nice. And then Kalisto hit a splash onto Xavier Woods. So there was high-flying action going around everywhere. However, the New Day were able to pick up the victory after Sin Cara, who was the legal man, missed the senton coming off the top rope, and Kingston was able to, as the legal man, hit Trouble in Paradise. Very solid 6-man tag match. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed this match. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen a 6-man tag match this good in quite a while. But it was definitely a good way to kick off the in-ring portion of Monday Night Raw. So this first hour of Raw was excellent. Excellent. So with that, we segue into hour number 2. And what better way to kick things off than with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar makes his way to the ring with Paul Heyman in tow. And as it was shown earlier on Facebook, as Dean Ambrose was making his way to Raw, to the arena, Brock Lesnar jumped him, and he pretty much, threw Ambrose onto the roof of a car, and Ambrose was hurt pretty badly, and they had to, the paramedics had to take him to the hospital. So Heyman and Lesnar are in the ring, and Paul cuts this incredible promo about how, that this right now is the main event, because any segment that involves Brock Lesnar is the main event. It doesn't matter what happened last night. It doesn't matter if Roman Reigns is going to face Triple H. None of that matters. Brock Lesnar, whatever match, whatever role that he has on WrestleMania, is the main event. And the fact that Brock Lesnar is not going to the main event, that just pisses him off that much more. And Heyman got so pissed at one point that he even knocked the microphone out of his own hand. He was like, come on, you got to give me another microphone. So Heyman said Lesnar needs a new opponent for WrestleMania. And anyone who wants to step up, you can do so. And just as Heyman is finishing that thought, you hear the sirens going. And you see an ambulance pull up to the ring. And sure enough, who's driving that ambulance but the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose? Not easy for me to say. Dean comes down to the ring. He's hobbling. He got his ass kicked. He was in for the fight of his life. What Lesnar did to him earlier. And I'm just looking at Dean. I'm like, come on, Dean. It's a risky move to make in his condition, but I want to see this match between Lesnar and Ambrose so badly. This is one of my... Between Taker and Shane now, and Ambrose and Lesnar, I cannot wait for those two matches at WrestleMania. And, Lesnar pretty much steps on Ambrose's face as he's walking back to the back. And it looks like, I was thinking, is that going to be it? But Ambrose gets on the mic, and he's like, Brock, I want to challenge you to a street fight at WrestleMania 32. And I'm just like, oh, man, perfect. That's how you do it right there. That is the perfect stipulation. A no-holds-barred street fight between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. Just take my money right now. I cannot wait for that match. And Lesnar responded. He walked back to the ring, picked Ambrose up, hit him with the F5, and boom. Cannot wait to see the further build in the weeks to come between Ambrose and Lesnar. Like I said, that is the smart move to make going with that match. Then after this, we had the Usos versus the Ascension. The match was really quick, but the thing that I liked about this was the Dudley Boys came out on the stage before the match, and they pretty much try to get inside the Usos' heads. They tell them about, oh, we were the ones that gave you that beat down several weeks ago, and now you're just showing back up. And the Dudley Boys say once again that they are not a nostalgia act. And they make a comment about the Usos' dad, Rikishi. So it was a way of the Dudley Boys trying to get inside of the Usos' heads for the upcoming match. The winners were the Usos after Jay hits the top rope splash onto Victor for the win. It was an interesting segment, and I'm curious to see where they go with the Usos and Dudley Boys. So I enjoyed this. We're rolling from here. Then we have Chris Jericho, after the break, make his way to the ring, and he wants to talk about his loss to AJ Styles last night at Fastlane. And pretty much he says, now Styles is not only great, but he is phenomenal. He is truly, arrived in WWE by beating future Hall of Famer such as Chris Jericho. And Jericho wants to say this face-to-face to AJ. So I'm possibly thinking, will we get a Chris Jericho heel turn tonight? I was thinking it was definitely going to happen. I just had this vibe. I'm like, Jericho's going to turn on him. I just know it's going to happen. That is not what happened. Before, AJ and Jericho, anything could further transpire, these social outcasts made their way to the ring, pretty much make fun of Jericho and Styles for making amends with each other. And this would eventually lead to Jericho challenging the Outcast in a tag match, and him and AJ teamed up. I really liked the idea of having Jericho and AJ team up, even if it's going to be only for the short time being. I think it further builds, eventual that seed of doubt that Chris Jericho might eventually turn on AJ. But I like the team up, as one of the members of the Social Outcast dubbed it, Y2AJ. So if that's their team name for the short time being, let's go with it. And I would love to see Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles, that feud, to continue heading into WrestleMania. The match, it wasn't the longest match, but it was an enjoyable match. I like seeing, like I said, Jericho and Styles work together as a team, as a unit. Thought they worked really well together. Jericho and Styles were able to pick up the victory after Styles took out the members of the Social Outcast with the springboard, and Jericho was able to lock in the Walls of Jericho on Curtis Axel for the win. So good match. Then after this, we had a backstage segment between Triple H and Stephanie. Triple H said, "Don't worry about Shane. I'm going to handle that. That's not going to be a problem, because Shane, as Triple H said, is a failure." However, Triple H tells Stephanie to go tell Reigns what they have in store for him, and they eventually announced for the main event tonight it was going to be Reigns versus Sheamus. So I wasn't too high on that match, but I enjoyed the way that Raw ended, and we will get to that. There was another funny skip between R-Truth and Goldust. Pretty much Goldust brought a cake in for R-Truth, said I'm sorry on it, and then R-Truth eventually hit Goldust in the face. So still interested in seeing Goldust and R-Truth team up down the line. So then we had what was most certainly the lowest point of the evening. It was a rematch between the Wyatt family and Big Slow, Kane, and Ryback. Why we had to do this match, again, after what happened on Fastlane. I mean, out of all the rematches that you would choose from Fastlane, you're going to do the weakest match on the card. I mean, I just don't get it. And, of course, 50-50 booking reigns supreme. The Wyatt family are your winners. And there's really nothing to say about this match, because it was just a match. I wasn't interested in it. I didn't pay attention to it. I just couldn't get into it. And I just – what are they doing with the Wyatt family? I mean, this is a little frustrating part of the show for me. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with them for WrestleMania. I don't really feel like they have any clear direction for the Wyatt family, and it's frustrating as a fan of the Wyatts. I know they have potential to be this dominant, unstoppable force, but when you have them lose at Fastlane and then get their win back the next night, and if you just keep doing the 50-50 booking, you're really not going to get them anywhere in the long run. And somebody mentioned this on Twitter. Ryback, towards the end of the match, would walk out, and that would cost Big Show and Kane the match. And somebody said, well, the only reason that they did this match was to facilitate a possible Ryback heel turn. Therefore, the Wyatt's victory was just kind of an afterthought. And I kind of agree there. I'm like, what are they going to have the Wyatts do at WrestleMania? Let me know down in the comments section below what you think the Wyatts, what their plans will be now that it's going to be Ambrose and Lesnar at WrestleMania, because I have no idea what the hell they're going to do with them. Then after this, we had Ryback pretty much. He was interviewed by Rich Brennan. He says, reason he walked out, it's all about him. He shouldn't rely on, he's tired of being in tag matches. He doesn't have anything left to prove. He wants to break through that glass ceiling and grab that brass ring. So that was somewhat interesting, I guess. I don't know where they're going with Ryback or what the hell they're doing with him. But after that, we had Sasha Banks make her way to the ring for a quick match against Naomi. Sasha was able to lock in the Banks statement for the victory after Becky Lynch was able to run in for the save to take out Tamina in order to avoid any type of screwy finish in the ring. The interesting thing was, though, after the match, Charlotte came down to the ring. She pretty much told Sasha and Becky that the authorities said that there will be a match between Sasha and Becky in order to determine who will face Charlotte at WrestleMania 32 for the Divas Championship. I was excited when they announced this. Hopefully, somehow, we're going to get a triple threat out of the situation that Charlotte described, and that is another match that I will be looking forward to at WrestleMania 32. So it will be nice for the women to finally have a big time championship match on the grandest stage of the ball, because I feel that they're really deserving of that opportunity. And I think WrestleMania 22 was the last time there was a singles one-on-one women's match for the title at WrestleMania, but I might be wrong about that. So good segment here. Then we have The Godfather. He was officially announced for the Hall of Fame, for the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2016. Shout out to The Godfather. Then we had our main event of the evening. It was Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. The match, it was what it was. That's not the thing that I really liked about this. Towards the end, Triple H's music hit, and I had a feeling Triple H was going to come out, and then he just starts to, he's not wearing a suit. He's wearing the leather jacket and the shirt, and this is going to be the cerebral assassin. This is going to be the game, not the guy in the corporate business suit. He means business, and boy, did he certainly mean it, because him and Reigns, they had a really nice pull-apart brawl. I was rooting for Triple H the whole time. The crowd was into it. I mean, they were cheering Triple H full time, and Reigns definitely did get a mixed reaction on this show. Reigns was able to get some offense in. He hit the Superman punch on Triple H, but then Triple H was able to take Reigns' head, and he kept smashing it over and over and over again onto the announcer's table, and it looked like Reigns got a bloody nose. There was blood everywhere. The blood really added to this beatdown and added to the viciousness, the brutalness of it. I was enjoying it, and like I said, I was fully rooting for Triple H to kick Reigns' ass. Then the medical staff starts tending the Reigns, and then Triple H, the referees are pulling them apart. Triple H goes back over to Reigns. He takes the steel steps and hits a pedigree with Roman Reigns' face hitting the steel steps. So sick, brutal way to close out a great episode of Raw. And then afterwards, Triple H holds the belt up and then goes, "Suck it," to Roman Reigns. And he mocked him with the Superman punch thing. So yeah, really great way to close out a great episode of Raw. I'm going to give this episode of Raw an A. Solid A show. One of the better episodes in recent memory. So yeah, great episode of Raw tonight. Let me know down in the comments section below what you guys thought of tonight's episode of Raw. Always enjoy getting that feedback. Thank you to everyone who viewed live tonight. Always appreciate your views. please click that like and subscribe button for more video content coming to this channel. And with that, I am out. Peace.